Hi guys, welcome back. Today I have another video where I'm gonna be showing you steps that you must take before you replace your engine coolant temperature sensor. The engine temperature coolant sensor serves a very important role in your vehicle. It monitors the coolant temperature, sends signals to your engine computer, which then turns on your radiator fan. It is located on around the thermostat housing area. So the easiest way to find this location on your vehicle, follow the upper radiator hose back to your engine and look around the area where it connects to your thermostat housing. You're probably gonna find yours too around that area. This is one of the components in your vehicle that prevents it from overheating. It's also responsible for fuel injection and some other functions in the vehicle, but today I'm going to be showing you steps you should take before you replace it. So this is the connector to my temperature sensor, coolant temperature sensor. It's a two-wire sensor. So this is what you must do before you replace your coolant temperature sensor. First, check for a ground and a 5-volt. So it's got a ground. One wire is the ground, sensor ground, and the other wire is your 5-volt. So to check for my ground, I'm going to use a test light. This is my test light connected to battery positive. As you can see, our test light is lit, so this is a good ground. And the other wire, we're gonna use a multimeter to check for the 5-volt reference. With one lead of our multimeter connected to battery negative, we should have a 5-volt. And always remember to turn your key to ignition on. I've turned my ignition to on. As you can see, we've got our 5-volt reference. So this is all we need for the sensor to function: a 5-volt reference and a sensor ground. Now I'll show you another method that you can use to check the integrity of your wiring. Because most people, when they get a fault code for your coolant temperature sensor, the first thing that comes to their mind is to change the coolant temperature sensor without testing the wiring. So I'm gonna show another method how to test, but this one involves a scanner. It involves your scanner, diagnostic scanner. So with your scanner, you open the engine, go to the live data, engine cooling. As you can see, coolant temperature, it's saying -37. Sorry guys, I have a little bit of a glare here, so I'm trying to find the best position where I can film nicely. Yeah. So this is our 5-volt reference. So we want to check if the computer is responsive, because sometimes your computer may not be responsive, and even if you change your coolant temperature sensor, is not going to help anything. So you need to check if your computer is responsive and the wiring from the sensor to your computer is good. So focus here on the coolant temperature sensor. Right now we're saying minus 37 degrees Celsius. If I touch with this with this test light connected to battery ground, it's gonna jump up to maximum. I'm gonna touch it now. As you can see, it jumped to 154. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna touch it again. As you can see, the temperature rises up to 154. I'm gonna take it off. Then it goes down. So this proves that the wiring is good from your coolant temperature sensor to your engine control unit. So with me here, I have a detailed diagram of how the engine coolant temperature sensor is wired. So we've got a PCM here. Inside the PCM, we've got a 5-volt regulator. The 5-volt regulator supplies your engine coolant temperature sensor with a 5-volt reference. It also supplies other sensors like your fuel level sensor, throttle position sensor, fuel pressure sensor, and many others, just to mention a few. So it's a 2-wire sensor. One is ground. The ground may be wired internally or externally depending on the manufacturer. Inside the PCM, we also have a voltage monitoring device. It constantly monitors the voltage of this wire. The coolant temperature sensor is a variable resistor. Its resistance varies with the changes in temperature. When your engine is cold, we have a high voltage around 4.5, and as the coolant heats up, the resistance lowers, and as the resistance lowers, so does our voltage. All this is constantly being monitored by this voltage sensing unit. And when it reaches a certain point, when the voltage reaches a certain point, the PCM switches on the fan. It also needs this information to adjust your fuel injection. This is the wire that we were testing on the vehicle, the 5-volt reference. So we connected our test light to battery ground and touched on this wire. Since we've got our test light did not light up because we've got a current limiting resistor. Our test light draws about 200 milliamps, and this resistor does not allow 200 milliamps to flow through it. The only thing that the test light will do was to pull down this temperature, to pull down this voltage, this 5-volt reference, down to 0. And the PCM interpreted it as the engine being hot. Hence we saw that 154 degrees Celsius on our scanner in the live data. I will make more videos on how these sensors work, potentiometers. The next video I'm going to make is going to be on the potentiometers and how this 5-volt regulator works. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.